the right way. I think they've done the right thing early on, so that gives them plenty of opportunity from now to the end of the season to kick on and try and survive in this league. But it's been eventful, having spoken to some of the players that I know well. It's been certainly an experience for them, something that they haven't seen in their careers. But that was the way Di Canio, applied his trade, and fair play to him. It didn't work. I always felt that when he was appointed, for me, it wasn't the right decision at the time. He had no experience in the league. Coming from Swindon, he did a good job there, but you're coming to a club where you're managing international players with big egos. We've all got big egos in football, and they're trying to get that fine balance right. And in the end, it wasn't the way for me to manage in the Premier League. I believe that you have to be certainly more and more the way football's going. You've got to be a good man manager. It's pretty evident that Paolo, that wasn't one of his strongest assets, and ultimately, it's ended in his second year at the club.
Well, Kevin talks about that. Is there room still for a disciplinarian like that in modern day football?
Well, I think you need discipline. You need discipline, you need respect. But I think first and foremost, you've got to treat the players like adults. Some of the stories coming out of Sunderland camp now, some of them are too outrageous to believe, so we don't know what to believe or what not. But I think what's evident that he lost the respect on the players in a very short space of time. He's had a few games at the end of last season, 5 games this season. And I think when he was appointed, that with Di Canio anything is possible. And it's just sad for the Sunderland fans that that short spell ended in the worst possible scenario, because there's 1 point after 5 games. They need to find a manager now. 40 players have been bought in the summer, so you need to bring somebody in who's willing to work with these players, because you can't get rid of the ball. And I think they've put themselves in a bit of a dire situation, but at the same time, I agree with Kev. I think they made the right decision early on. And they've got time to find somebody now, but they need to get this right, because they've been a graveyard for managers here in recent years. I think 9 managers in 7 years, so they need to bring somebody in who stays there for the long term to get some continuity and stability back into the club.
Gascoigne's the favourite to get the job. He was hot favourite a few days ago. He's drifted somewhat quiet. He's now 1-2. Mullenstein second in at 6-1. Now Stuart Pearce is an interesting one. On Friday he was a 50-1 chance. Now 10-1. Zola 12s. Kevin Ball, who's in charge today, and who knows for how much longer. Tony Pulis at 40-1. Kevin, you first. What do you think Sunderland will do next?
Well, I certainly agree with Billy. The next appointment's got to be the right one. It's got to be give themselves plenty of time now to make the right decision. For me, the short-term solution, I think Kevin Ball. I know Kevin very well. Spent 6 seasons here with him. I know what he's all about, and I get the feeling that players respect him. He's an honest lad, and he'll treat them like adults, and he'll certainly get the best out of them. And you'll see that today, I'm pretty sure. So maybe that could be a good short-term solution, maybe till January when the window opens back up. And then, if Kevin knows that they bring someone else in at that time, I don't know. But for me, looking at that, Gascoigne, he did very well at Brighton, left under a bit of a cloud, and obviously he's out of work. But I quite like Zola. I think he's an excellent coach, and from what I know about him, he seems to handle the players very well. I think they would, yeah. I think straight away the players would respect him because of what he's done in the game. He's a nice, humble fella, and he plays good football. We've seen that at Watford. They started this season exceptionally well. They were unlucky in the playoff final last year. So for me, that would be a good appointment. But for the short-term solution, I think Kevin Ball's the ideal choice, because the fans love him here. They'll get right behind him and the team. And I think if he gets a result today, they have a good result during the week, who knows?
Come back to your Kevin Ball, because you obviously played for them and everything as well. Just before that, what do you think Sunderland should do next?
Well, I wouldn't worry about good football at the moment too much, because they're bottom of the league, 1 point after 5 games. We've seen Tony Pulis there at the bottom of the list. I think Sunderland should or have to go for the man which gives them the best possible chance to stay up. Tony Pulis' track record, second to none. What he's done at Stoke is fantastic. It's not always the prettiest on the eye or the nicest to watch, but I'm not too sure whether the fans here are too bothered about that. You've got to send the Premier League, a lot of money at stake, and you don't want to lose that Premier League status. So I would go for someone who's been in that position before, who can do it, who's got a proven track record.
The style of football, you touched on it, the style of football would be a big issue here, then.
Well, it may be, but then again, would you rather bring somebody who plays nicer football with a better chance of going down? If I was a Sunderland fan, I wouldn't like Tony Pulis, but I want him for the long term is a different matter. for the remaining 33 games now, I want somebody who gets the ship back on track, and I wouldn't look any further than Tony Pulis.
Well, Kevin Ball did that in the week, didn't he, Kevin? In the League Cup. How big a boost for him and the club? How important was this result?
Well, it was a huge result, yeah. It's no surprise that, having brought Lee Cattermole back into the side, who epitomises what Kevin Ball was all about, what the Sunderland supporters of the club were all about. No surprise, he's brought straight back into the team, and they've gone on to win 2-0. And I believe one of my friends during the week, they played some good football. They created chances, 2 good goals, and I don't see no reason why Kevin couldn't do the job. He's had experience of doing it before when he took over. As I said, he knows the club inside out. He's an honest guy, and the players want to play for him. They respect him, and where Sunderland are at the moment, I think that's the key for them to survive this year. But as Diddy said, it's not about pretty football. It's about getting results and surviving in this league. And they've got a huge task in front of them. But I think Kevin Ball is certainly up to the task.
And that task, Man United, Swansea, Derby coming up as well. First Liverpool here today, and Luis Suarez returning to Premier League action. What did you make of Luis Suarez in the week?
Well, I think he's done okay. First came back after a number of games out. He's not played with the team for probably 3 or 4 months, but then he again for Uruguay, so match fitness shouldn't be too much of an issue. I think he's done okay, as the whole Liverpool team did. But at the end of the day, they got knocked out of cup competition, and I feel it was a game where they should have could have got a result, and unfortunately they didn't. But him personally, I think in a decent first game, I think he'll be better for it. 90 minutes on this belt, and I think we'll see a better, more sharp Luis Suarez today.
Is that the key, particularly with a striker, Kevin? I mean, you can play for Uruguay and you can play pre-season and so on, but you can't replicate the Premier League game with the sharpness you need as a frontman. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. You can do all the training in the world, but it's totally different when you get out on that Premier League. And for me, in the striker, I'm really looking forward to Luis Suarez coming back after his ban. I was excited about his second half performance the other night. You could see the sharpness coming back, the confidence, and I'm pretty sure he can't wait to turn out this afternoon. And it wouldn't surprise me if he gets back on the score sheet pretty quick. And we're talking about Luis Suarez again. Let's hope in the right way. But he's just, he's a fantastic player. He's one of the best strikers in Europe in my eyes.
Beautifully set up for later on. Sunderland against Liverpool, our second game on Super Sunday after what was just an amazing day in the Premier League yesterday, summed up by that top result. Villa beating Manchester City 3-2. Cardiff, another great result for them. Problems for Martin Yard and Fulham. Now that the new boys Hull going really well too. Manchester United, their worst start to a Premier League season on a famous day for West Brom. Southampton in the top 4, beating Palace. I'm afraid a bit more on that on the way, Kevin. Spurs and Chelsea second and third after their draw yesterday. And in-form Arsenal lead the way after their win at Swansea on Saturday night football. To St Mary's. What was the feeling afterwards? You came on about 20 minutes in at the end there. What was the feeling afterwards? Was it a case of what might have been, particularly for you guys in the first half?
Yeah, I thought the first half was pretty even. We had a good penalty claim turned down, and I think when Marian Shamat looks at it again, he perhaps went down a little bit too easy. If he'd stayed on his feet a little bit longer, I think he probably would have got the penalty. So they're the fine lines, aren't they, in the Premier League? But then we come out second half and we have a mad 3 minutes. We concede 2 goals, and then it's, as you well know, down at St Mary's, I know too well, it's a tough place to go and get a result anyway. But when you can, concede 2 sloppy goals early on, you're chasing the game, and Southampton kept possession pretty well. So on our point, it was very frustrating because we were in the game right up until that moment. We were carved out a few chances. So that's the Premier League for you. We've got to learn pretty quick if we want to survive in this league.
About another of your old teams yesterday, West Brom. You're chasing down Man United. Crystal Palace, the situation in town. It was an extraordinary result, wasn't it, for them? And there seemed no fluke about it, was there?
No, watching the game, watching the highlights, I think they certainly deserved their win. The 2 players that have scored that have been brought in, some fantastic goals. They look like real good signings for West Brom. When we came in the dressing room after, that's one of the first things we do. We look at the results after we've had our team talk, and there was certainly some shocks yesterday, surprised everyone, but yeah, delight for my old club, and it was an incredible day for them at Old Trafford.
Teddy, what about Manchester City? Was that a freak result, freak performance, or something more worrying about City on the road?
Probably a bit of both. I think it was a freak result in a way because they were in total control of the game, missed numerous chances, conceded that goal that should have been given offside. But then again, it's the second time this season they lost to Cardiff as well. So this is certainly something that has to be addressed, because everybody thought when they lost to Cardiff, Company will be back